Pardon me, but somebody got to say it. Now, in this video, I want you to watch the body language. Pay attention. Brandon Tatum interviewed Warren, Jax, and Morgan, along with their lawyer. I pulled some clips out from their interview, and I want you to pay attention and tell me what you think. Check it out.
Everybody has an opinion. Yeah. Very few have perspective. Truth doesn't fear questions. History deserves context. Culture deserves understanding. The headlines tell you what happened. We ask why it happened. Why it happened. Welcome.
It's the Pardon Me podcast. We back in the building. Shout out to the legends. We just hit a new goal, 10,000 subscribers. Shout out to all the supporters, the followers. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. 10,000 subscribers. Let's go. And we still going. Now let's get into this video. Brandon Tatum just did another interview with the boys from the Nolan Wells case. But this time, he did an interview with Warren, Jax, and Morgan, as well as their lawyer. Now, while watching this interview, I saw a few things that caught my eye. A few things that didn't look right. I saw nervousness, and I saw fear. So I zoomed in on a couple clips to see their body language. And Morgan and Warren look a little shaky. I'm not saying they did anything, but you guys tell me what y'all see in these clips I pulled out. Check out the first clip.
Like, even going out, you know, we're always paranoid somebody's gonna see us, get spotted, try to beat us up potentially, or even worse.
Now, if you noticed, this is the beginning of the interview, but Morgan looks scared. And Warren is staring at him like, Now, if we continue, just keep watching the body language. I zoomed in so you can see it up close. But notice Warren's body language in this clip when the lawyer says the words, lying.
Working with them, what's your expectations when it comes to defamation?
Well, I think an injustice in one place is an injustice everywhere. I hate lying. I care about the truth. I hate lying. I care about the truth, but most of all, it's the actual people who are involved here. So first of all, I just want to say...
See, body language says a lot. You pay attention, not to the speaker, but to the other people in the room. Keep watching.
We're really just trying to stay low-key and not go out as much or anything like that. Yeah.
It's been hard because my friends and I are people. I mean, we like to be out and hang out outside of our friend group, you know, and not being able to like go certain places or, you know, walk around in public because our head's always on a swivel. It's really affected all of us. I mean, especially in like my family's standpoint, my safety comes first. My friends and family safety come first too, and it's been really hard because I'm worried about like my family as well with me, and it's hard, but you know we're just going day by day and just trying to get through every day. You know.
Come on, Warren, you're doing a whole lot of stuttering. He said, we're people. Warren, we know you're people. What are you trying to say? Get it out. He don't look comfortable. Is he being forced to do these interviews by his mom or somebody else? Does he have the most to do with this and they making him do the most talking? What's really going on? Because his body language and his speech, it's not working. A lot of fumbling, a lot of regurgitating the same thing. And usually the more you talk, the bigger hole you dig yourself. But I don't think they're paying attention to that right now. Because when you're innocent, usually you just don't have to say nothing. Because you ain't do nothing. So you don't have to explain nothing. But when you're guilty, allegedly, you try to talk your way out of things. And you really end up making it worse. We're going to see what happens. Now, if you pay attention closely, you watch Warren. Warren looks a little uneasy. You got to remember, Warren's doing the most talking out of everybody. This is his second interview. He sat down with Brandon Tatum already and did an interview that most people say didn't look good for him or for the case. And I agree that this interview right here doesn't look good for them either, or the case. A lot of rambling, a lot of nervous talking, and of course, the right questions weren't asked. But let's keep going.
Does that make your case a greater case, or how do you work within what's happening to these young men?
Well, unfortunately, I wish there was no case. I wish this hadn't happened. But unfortunately, because these things did happen, there is a case, and now there's multiple cases. And I'm going to tell you something. If you're out there and you lied about these guys, you lied about my guys.
Now I paused it. Take a look at Warren and Morgan. Throughout this whole interview, Morgan looks nervous, scared, uneasy. And Warren looks the same. A little different though. More of a cockiness to his fear, more of a cockiness to what's going on.
You lied about Tyler's guys here. If you lied about Morgan, if you lied about Jax, if you lied about Warren, we're going to get you. And you're going to be hauled into court, you're going to be held accountable, and it's going to be very painful. And what I would say to the people who have done that is, now's your chance. If you want to apologize and retract before you find yourself in court, you should probably do that now.
Now I stop it right here in this picture. Look at this image of Morgan. He looks like he has a lot on his mind. He looks like he's scared. He was twiddling his fingers the whole time the lawyer was talking. And throughout this interview, you'll see how Warren starts to stare at him when he's speaking and when Jax is speaking. Because I think Morgan might be the weak link. If they did something, his demeanor, his body language, his facial expressions throughout this interview don't look good. He looks like he's scared to death, and he doesn't want to be there. Look at this picture. Does he look like a confident young man? He looks like he's scared.
We're only going to deal in facts, right? And here's the most important thing, right? We don't know how Nolan Wells died. No one here is saying we know. But what we do know is Morgan, Jax, and Warren had nothing whatsoever to do with Nolan Wells' death. And that's what's important. And unfortunately...
Now, when a lawyer says that, look at Warren's face. Look at Warren's face when the lawyer says that. He doesn't look real confident. Looks like he has a lot on his mind, too. I'll play it back for you. Keep your eyes on Warren.
Morgan, Jax, and Warren had nothing whatsoever to do with Nolan Wells' death. Morgan, Jax, and Warren had nothing whatsoever to do with Nolan Wells' death.
Now, right here, keep an eye on Warren and Morgan. While Jax is speaking, look how Warren is looking at Morgan. That death stare. Like, come on, dude. Get your confidence up. You look crazy.
And Morgan and Jax, were you guys there?
Yes, we were there.
I was there.
I didn't hear the part where they said they were gonna kill him and stuff, but I did hear whenever she came up to him originally, she was like, "Hey, you have like TikTok or anything like that? Your face looks really familiar." And he was like, "No, I don't have TikTok or anything like that." And she was like, "Oh, okay," and then walked off, and then came back with, like you said, the first interview, on her phone, and showing him. She's like, "So this isn't you. Either you have a doppelganger or this is you." And he was like, "Well, yeah, that's me." And then we got the check, and we bounced, and we were waiting outside for everybody else to get out of there. And while
people trying to make a name for themselves by confronting you in front of others, like what was your take on that, Morgan?
I think it was just like I was in the general area of where one of our buddies was, where this altercation happened, and
Now, when Morgan starts speaking, look how Jax and Warren are eyeing him, looking at him like, "Don't mess up. Don't say the wrong thing.
I actually got into a conversation with a fellow next to me that wasn't even involved, and he told me straight up, he was like, if I was y'all right now, I would leave before y'all get hurt. Y'all need to leave right now. I'm just watching out for y'all and making sure y'all are safe. And I mean, I wouldn't say that those people would have physically done something in that moment, but I think they were playing like almost like a mental game, like just to get into your head and just almost like make yourself like just think these things that obviously are not true.
Keep your eyes on Warren and Morgan. Morgan staring off into blank space, looking like he's thinking about 1,000 things, and Warren's watching him. He has his eyes on Morgan.
A lot of this stuff wouldn't have been as viral or gone all over the country at this point. I mean, this is a countrywide news story that is just blown out of proportion, and the fact that it was our best friend and it's not what people are saying it is what hurts the most. I mean, that was our brother. I mean, straight up.
Now I want y'all to notice. Look how Warren is looking at Morgan. And look how scared Morgan looks in general. He don't want to be there. Jack's talking looks the most comfortable. But Warren looks like he's not trying to get caught up in nothing. I started thinking about it. You would think the judge's son will be the one that's doing the least amount of talking because she knows the current situation of the law and how things work. But ask yourself, why is it that Warren, out of all the kids, is doing the most talking since it all started? He's going to speak in his interview about how he's the one who called the Coast Guard. He's the one who called the mom. You know, he's happy he did that. He did the first interview. He's doing this interview. He's doing the most talking. Now, I'm not saying they did anything. I'm saying look at it. Because usually the one who does the most talking is the most guilty. We've all seen it before. But let's keep it going.
Well, first off, like I wish we would have never, like I think about this every day. Like I wish we would have never went out on the 4th of July because I know this wouldn't have happened.
Whoa. You knew this, huh? Sound like he almost said, I knew this would happen. See, he's doing a lot of stuttering and stammering over his words in this interview, just like in the last interview.
Nolan wouldn't be gone, and like it's really hard to think about because it's like I wish I would have done this different, or I wish I would have done that different because now one of my brothers wouldn't have like passed away. But I think from the beginning, I'm glad that I called the Coast Guard, and I'm glad that we came together as a group, even from the first day when people started texting us things, saying, you know, crazy things. But I wish it wouldn't have been reported as some type of race thing. I think it's really bad that like people are pushing the narrative, oh, this is a race thing. Well, obviously it's not. I mean, this is like a brother to us. I mean, Nolan's no different than anyone else in our group. And I just wish this wasn't pushed on the media as, oh, this is a bunch of white guys that killed a black guy, or this is, you know, like in the beginning it was like 4 guys went to a stranded island and dumped Nolan at the island and just left him there.
So you got to watch what people say, because he just said the first day they were getting threats and all that kind of stuff. The first day, Nolan's body wasn't even found. Nobody knew what happened. He was just missing. Nobody sent you any death threats the first day. Nobody said you did anything the first day. Nobody knew anything the first day. The first day would have been the 5th. He was reported missing at 11 o'clock on the 4th p.m. So the first day, nothing happened. Nobody blamed you guys. Nobody said this was a race thing. Nobody definitely said that 4 guys went and dumped Nolan in the water. Where are you getting this from? In the beginning, that's not what happened. We've all heard the term guilty conscience. See, a guilty conscience is how you saying the wrong things, messing up your time frames, talking too much because that guilt is killing you. But you got to defend yourself somehow. I'm not saying Warren did anything. But if you just listen to Warren talk, he kind of burying himself. He not making himself look good in this situation. From the first interview to this interview, and just the odd things he keeps saying.
Like even from the beginning, it was just like this thing and no one had facts and they were just pushing this horrible narrative, all lies about everyone. And it's sick. So I wish that would have been completely different. I'm glad I called the Coast Guard. I'm glad I made the first contact within all of this. I'm glad I was the first one that called Christine Wells that night and told her that we haven't heard from her son. And I'm glad that I did all of that, but I hate the way this has been perceived by the media and portrayed. This has like been absolutely horrible with the way and the things that they've said to us and done. But other than that, I mean, there's not much I would change from my point of view and my friend's point of view. I think we did everything right, and I know we did nothing wrong.
And you got to notice something else. Warren only talks as we, my friend group, my guys. He keeps bringing up the guys, the group, the friends, when he's talking about his personal situation and what's going on with him in the situation. See, he's trying to bring the cluster of everybody into what he's saying. So it looks a little suspicious. I'm not saying he did nothing, but it looks a little suspicious when you keep talking about the guys. And I wouldn't have done anything wrong. Me and my friends, your friends are not talking right now. You are.
There is no possible way that anybody could have committed a murder in broad daylight on a barren, windswept island that is narrow and was just swamped with people that day in broad daylight. It's just not possible given the natural environment there. And that leads me to the next point, which is this. Once you know what the timeline is, when you combine the timeline with the actual dynamics of the island itself, all of the lies completely unravel because it isn't possible, and here's why. Morgan, Warren, and Jax left the island at about 4:30 p.m. That's it. They were gone.
Now, while the lawyer's talking in this part, watch Morgan and Warren's faces. Look at their body language. Look at Morgan's face. Look how Warren's looking at the lawyer. Watch the body language.
That is not open for debate. So that's a fact. They were gone. And at that time, Nolan Wells was still alive. Now, I'm not going to name them out of respect for their privacy, but just as one example, there are two very fine, upstanding members of the Ocean Springs community who saw Nolan Wells at about 10 minutes to 6 p.m. So about an hour and a half after these fine young men had left the island. They were gone, departed. Nolan Wells was alive. And these two witnesses, two very reliable, very credible, and very upstanding members of the community, they saw Nolan. And they've known Nolan for years. There's no chance that they made a mistake. And by the way, this can be corroborated through other evidence, other eyewitness accounts. And that's the end of it right there. And that's before we get into everything else about the situation.
And when I look at this, I feel like there's levels of defamation and areas of defamation. And I'm not going to speak on your behalf because this is y'all's story to tell, your story to litigate. But which areas are the most egregious that you are going to go after, or that you guys think also are areas where people have taken this situation and clearly lied to the public? One being the phone call. What is your thoughts on that phone call to Cito? Some people have gone out and done enhancements to the audio.
When he mentioned that phone call, look how uncomfortable Warren got instantly. Instantly, he got uncomfortable. Why?